Yup, man. You know what time it is, man. This is your favorite channel, man. This is CTB. This is Chin Tuck Boxing. This is a raw, uncut, post-fight video, man. We give you these after every major fight. So get ready to get your chin checked with this boxing knowledge. With that being said, I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
And of course, you know what fight we talking about. We talking about the fight that everybody is talking about. We talk about, man, the upset of the year. This is probably the upset of the last couple years. I can't think of a bigger upset than this one. Can you think of a bigger upset, yo?
For the year,
No,
yeah,
last couple years.
uh, yeah, it's up there. It's up there, off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of no bigger upset than this one. We talking about the Bivol versus Canelo Alvarez fight. Of course, I had family issues here on my side, so we couldn't, of course, bless you guys with our prediction video. That was my fault for that, but I will say we both was wrong on our prediction because behind closed doors, we both had a conversation, and we both actually picked Canelo to beat Bivol. We thought that Canelo would have stepped on the gas later and possibly either by stoppage or by, split decision. I thought decision. I was going the decision route if he didn't knock him out. So first, I'm gonna get your opinion on that, man. How do you feel about being wrong about the outcome of the fight?
It's crazy that you said that it was one of the biggest upsets in over the last couple of years. I'm sure there's a few others we can think of, but if you really thought about it, we should have looked at it as really a big upset, because of the size difference. But I will say, out the predictions, I was confident that Canelo would win, but I wasn't shocked if he lost. So that's why we didn't really make an odds video, because I felt like the odds for Canelo to win was too low to make money off of. And when I wasn't too confident in Bivol, to bet money on him. So I just watched the fight as a fan because, I felt like it was a fight 65-35 for Canelo in his way. I just felt like if he could get accustomed to the weight, that he would win the fight. So, the first, half of the fight, it went like I thought it would go. But like you said, the back end of the fight kind of surprised me because I thought that, that a Canelo counterpuncher would play more of a bigger factor. But as you see, the weight difference and that the fact that he couldn't really hurt him, it kind of played a factor in the fight.
Yeah, man, you kind of said off camera a minute ago, which I agree with, man. We should have paid more attention to that Kovalev fight, man, because like you said, man, he was tiring out in that fight also. 175 was just too big for Canelo, man. He's a short guy already. He's a short, stocky, muscular guy. It takes a lot of oxygen, man, to fuel those muscles, especially when you walk around on a weight that's really, I'm not gonna say it's unnatural for him. It might be a natural weight for him, but for a sport like boxing, it's not a natural weight for him in that sport when it involves high cardio with high explosiveness, with high, reflexes. It involves a lot of things that you have to be on key, which is why a lot of boxers they cut down in weight to get to a better, comfortable, more responsive weight. You know what I'm saying? They don't fight at weight that's, in Canelo's case with this, their punches don't seem to be effective as you think they should be. So a lot of fighters cut weight so their punches have more effect on other fighters who are naturally smaller. In Canelo's case, I think he cut weight because his stamina issues, who he's always been cursed with throughout his career, it seems to be a lot worse at those heavier weights because of the extra muscle that he put on. On top of that, Bivol was holding on to him a lot. It was a couple, there was tussling in there. He did pick Bivol up on the shoulders. That probably had a lot to do with him gassing out too. But as far as the fight goes, in my opinion, man, I told you earlier, like months ago, when the fight was being made, that Bivol was probably you even said it yourself, man. You was like, Bivol was the most dangerous fight for the less amount of award. Do you still stand by that, man? You think this was still the most dangerous fight out of all the opponents Canelo had, and for the least amount of award?
Yeah, of course, it was the most dangerous fight, and I felt like I said, him beating Bivol, he would have got as much credit anyway. So I didn't like him going to 175 to make that fight, but I understand he was going for legacy again. So he was trying to win another title at 175, trying to bounce around. So years later, when you look at Canelo, you can say, man, I want one titles at 175, 160, 154. But the problem with that is he was talking about going to heavyweight to fight Usyk. At 201, I guess he know that shit ain't gonna work. But he was talking about it. But the fact was, instead of him trying to make probably the best fights for himself and for the fans, he was more on legacy, which I can't blame him for. But I thought that he should have just stayed at 168 and fought the Charlos and David Benavidez, and I think they would have been more better competitive fights. But I think it's a mistake. He's talking about a rematch at 175 with Bivol. I don't see nothing changing. I don't see nothing changing in the second fight. I think he's gonna have the same problem he had in the first fight. He can try to let his hands go and try to pressure him, but he did that this fight. I don't know what he can do that's different. I just think he, like you say, he's just too small for the weight.
He's too small and he's too short, because with Triple G, when he changed his style, this is what this is what I thought was going to happen. I actually thought that Bivol does have a tendency of dropping his jab a whole lot. He did it this fight. He had a tendency of throwing that jab for too far away sometimes, or too close sometimes, and dropping it. He did it a lot this fight. The difference is Canelo was too gassed to capitalize on it, or he was too far away to capitalize on it. With Triple G, in the first fight, he stuck and moved with Triple G. He was boxing, he was moving, he was hard to hit. He pretty much came in there to trying to embarrass Triple G. In my opinion, it was a close fight, but I still slightly gave it to Canelo because I respect the defensive art of boxing. I thought he made Triple G look bad enough where those shots that Triple G did land wasn't effective enough to get the round, in my opinion. But since that fight was close, he said fuck it in the second fight and decided to walk Triple G down and bully Triple G. In this fight with Bivol, he can't do either. He can't walk down and bully Bivol. You just tried that, and you seen how that turned out. Bivol not going to stand there for that. He's going to stick you and move you, and then when you tire out, he's going to throw combinations, and then if you get too close, he's going to wrap you up. You can't stick and move with Bivol because he's too long for that, and he's faster than you. So if you try to stick and move with Bivol, he's just going to jab you to death, and you're not going to be able to catch him. So in my opinion, I agree with you, man. This is a mistake for him to rematch him. I think he needs to go ahead and swallow his pride and go back down to 168 where he belongs. I still think 160 is too light for him because I think he's going to be weight draining that weight at his age at this point. But I think 168, man, he can get some fights in that division. What you think about what I said?
Yeah, I think he needs to go back to 168. I think that's his new home now. 160, I think is like you said, he'll be draining himself down, and he's still the king of boxing as far as a draw. So the only way he would go to 160 if it was for a mega fight and somebody had the upper hand on him as far as being an A-side fighter, and that's still not the case. He's still the A-side, so by him being the A-side, nobody's gonna make him go to 160. So you got to meet him at 168 if you want to have a fight with Canelo, which people still gonna want to have. So I think 168 is where he gonna campaign at. Now I will say this. This is we're doing this show and we're gonna start doing this after every fight, and we're gonna have a lot of raw emotions and we're gonna say what we feel. So I mean, this is chin check uncut. Almost like remember BET Uncut. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, you would wake up and BET Uncut would be on. This is what Chin Check is Uncut is, and I'm gonna have to say it, man. Eddie Reynoso, to me, we had him as the best trainer in boxing at one point.
Last year.
And I thought that, but now the more I look at it, between his other fights, with what he's doing with other fighters, and I listened to him in the corner from the translator when Canelo was getting behind on the card, he gave him no advice. And like I always feel like you find out what a trainer is when you have adversity, when you need him to tell that fighter something. When you feel like he need to be lifted up, or you need to tell him a strategy to do, not just you got to pick it up, or come on man, what you doing, or get your guard up, or count. No, tell him how to do it. And I didn't see that out of Eddie Reynoso. He panicked to me. He seemed lost. So to me, what I'm saying, Eddie Reynoso got a lot of question marks too, man, because when Canelo needed him, he won't there for him.
I'm gonna be honest with you, because he never been in that position. He never seen Canelo in that position before. When they fought Floyd was a smaller man. Floyd was the better technician. He was way better technician, and way harder to hit than Bivol. But he was smaller, so of course he just told him keep pressing. You're gonna land that shot eventually. That sounded good against Floyd because Floyd was a smaller man. it wasn't too much advice you can really give to him in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Bivol was a bigger man. It seemed like his punches just was not affecting Bivol the way he thought it was. So what could you tell Canelo at that point? I think he was just really lost and really surprised that the game plan that they had slated it was not working. Like I said, in my short film study of Bivol, I changed my game plan 2 times that I thought he was gonna come in. When I first started studying him, I said, "Yo, Bivol gonna be tough as hell to beat. I think Bivol might actually pull it off." But then I got too much of my not I won't say feelings. I got too much of my belief in Canelo and how Canelo pulled things off. I got too much in that and thought that he would pull it out late against Bivol. And I forgot my initial reaction when I saw Bivol when he fought Pascal, was making Pascal look bad, was embarrassing in boxing him and from the outside. I forgot about all those things he can do. And I honestly think that's what happened to Reynoso. I think Reynoso got stuck in that Canelo can pull something out late. You know what I'm saying? He'll catch him eventually. That's what he always does. And when it was not happening, and we seen that it was almost impossible for it to happen because his Canelo punch just was not the same punch. I just think that he, like you said, he was like a deer in headlight, man. He didn't have no other game plan for it. Yeah. Similar to Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez last week.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. Now that he has lost tonight, and me and you've been back and forth on who should be number one pound for pound, and we both slightly favor Bud. Sometimes I pick Canelo ahead of him, but because he popped dirty, I could understand why people don't want to have Canelo number one if you not want to have him on the list at all. But if you had Canelo on your list, where is he now on that pound for pound list after this loss?
That is a tough question for many reasons. I'm trying to explain why as fast as I possibly can, because this might be a video on itself. I will say I always said Crawford number one, in my opinion. I always said Crawford number one because, in my opinion, his style was always harder to beat than Canelo's style to me. And people will forget what the pound for pound list actually means. It means that fight style, no matter what weight class, would cause issues for any fighter at that weight. It's not a popularity contest. It went from being what I explained it to be till people actually picking their favorite fighter to be the best pound for pound. Canelo, to me, in my opinion, Crawford style at any weight will cause issues for a lot of people, for everybody. That is why I have him number one. This fight with Canelo Gaston, you have to say that he is beatable at a lot of weights. But you could also say that he went up too high, so that's why he looked vulnerable. So that could, sway a lot of people's opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, it can go either way. It all depends on what your breakdown of a pound for pound fighter is. But in my breakdown, I will drop him down pretty severely, because it wasn't just the fact that he was too small for Bivol. It was, like you said, about Eddie Reynoso. It was also Canelo in the ring who couldn't find another gear or another game plan. He got frustrated and he let his frustration show. So in my opinion, that made him drop significantly in my pound for pound list. What about you?
Yeah, like I said, it's two ways you can look at it. Like you said, you can look at it from the standpoint of he tried to be great. He moved up to a weight class that was too big for him, or that he just took a loss and took a L. He needs to drop. Me personally, I think he'll probably be around that 5 or 6 range now for me. The question is also now is Bivol. Is he's in the pound for pound list? I think you have to add him to the pound for pound list. And please, for the love of God, get Lomachenko off the goddamn list.
Yeah.
and I guess you can add Bivol to the list because he beat the number one guy pound for pound. He's a champion at 175, so I think he has to be on the list now also.
I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be controversial, but I would not put Bivol on my list. I know, yes, he beat arguably number one pound for pound on the list. Arguably, yes. But he had all the advantages. He had the size, he had the weight, they was fighting at his weight. He had the advantage to win. We as fans got caught in the hype of Canelo that we actually forgot that this weight class is in boxing for a reason. I was arguing with a bunch of people on Facebook. Might well bring it up. I was arguing with a bunch of people on Facebook about, the Spence Canelo fight. And I was telling them that, there's weight classes for a reason. Canelo is too big for Spence. Spence power is not that effective at welterweight. Spence is not taking punches like Margarito at welterweight. So he's been buzzed a couple times. So a punch from Canelo, who's used to fighting bigger guys, would have an easier time with Spence than he would with Bivol. This actually it proves my point when it comes to that very same thing. Bivol proved that fact. My problem was I forgot that fact when it came to Canelo. That is what happened with a lot of fans. A lot of fans forgot that fact when it came to Canelo for some reason because, of course, he beat Kovalev. But then, like I said, Kovalev was washed up at that time. So I can't add Bivol to the list because of that. I can't add Bivol to the list because you beat arguably number one pound for pound on the list. Okay, yes, but you had the advantages too.
So,
but the rest of your resume doesn't really move the needle for me.
So
would it make a top 10? Yes. Would it make him all of a sudden top 5 all of a sudden?
No, not that.
Absolutely not.
Then if he beats better Diaz, man, that changes a lot. If he beats him, then that changes a lot for me. Then I think I can see him being a top 5. But yeah, I agree with you. Like you said, he had all the advantages. So I put him in the top 10, right around, that 9-10 spot. And you know what I'm saying? Slide him in there. But of course, I can't move him up to the top 5 because of the the circumstances, of course. Now we'll ask you this other question, before we get out of here, keep people too long. But what did the zone do from here? They paid him big money. You know what I'm saying? And they had it planned out that, to have this Bivol fight and then to jump right into the Triple G fight and make big money. Now that fight has to be pushed back. That fight is not going to be in September now. It's most likely going to be a rematch. And with opponent that we said is not really a marketable guy right now as far as the money that they're paying Canelo to get their money back. So did the zone take a L tonight as far as their pockets? Or do you think this could be a good thing as far as them losing and maybe getting more hype out of the rematch?
It's the latter. I believe it's actually a good thing for the zone because I think nobody really cared. Well, I'm not gonna say nobody. The casual fans, of course, cared, but no real boxing fan really cared to see Triple G there at almost 40 years old fight Canelo again. I think this rematch will do a lot better because now, number one, Canelo fans they are pissed. A lot of people are calling upset. I don't think I saw upset at all. I think 2 rounds was closer than I had it. I think I'd have had it maybe about 3 rounds. But I'm gonna have to rewatch the fight because I was kind of in and out a little bit. But I think I had at least 3 or 4 rounds up for Bivol.
Yeah, I had a 116, 112.
Yeah, so I thought the judges having it even being 2 rounds up for Bivol was close and was close.
Yeah, you think that I understand from a boxing standpoint, that's a bigger fight, Canelo against Bivol. But you believe that as far as selling and the money and the pay-per-view sales and the money that the zone can make, they can make more money in the rematch over a Triple G trilogy?
Almost definitely, because they're gonna make it all about Canelo being pissed off that he lost. They're gonna market. While they're gonna try to market Bivol and try to sell Bivol. But I think he's not going to get a lot of American fans, of course, because he's not. Even though Canelo's not English either, he's not English speaking either. He speaks just enough English to get English fans' attention. And plus, like he said, he's Mexican, and Mexican is right here in the United States of America, the same continent. So while Bivol won't be able to get to the American fans, he most definitely has the European fan base rocking with him heavy right now. So what they're going to do here in America is they're going to market it as Canelo's on a rampage. This is his first loss since Floyd Mayweather. Canelo is on a rampage. He's about to go out here and avenge this loss. And they're going to show him training. They're going to show him, with the mean mug faces. And they're going to show him just looking so pissed off and ready. He's going to start training camp ASAP. He's going to probably be in camp tomorrow. They're going to show Canelo's already in camp right now for the Bivol rematch. And the zone is going to have so many Canelo fans riled up and thinking that Canelo is going to bring something new to the table. They're even going to bring up the rematch with Triple G. They're even going to use that fight. They're going to use Triple G's name to sell Bivol rematch. They're going to say, look what Canelo did the first match compared to the second match, the same way I broke down earlier in this video. And they're going to use that as a selling point. This actually helped the zone, in my opinion, because, like I said, if Canelo would have knocked out Bivol, it was a foregone conclusion that Triple G was going to get dominated for a fact. If he would have had a close fight with Bivol but still won, maybe some real boxing fans would have watched it just to see maybe Canelo slipping a little bit, but it would have been no real interest. Now that Canelo lost and they had a close enough fight to where they can say, oh, Canelo would have did this differently, he would have won. I think a lot more fans are going to watch the rematch than they did the initial fight.
So the biggest loser tonight is Triple G. Pretty much.
Yeah, because Triple G now will have to fight a real opponent. Now he would have to fight somebody like a Benavidez or a Jamel Charlo or even Jamal Charlo. He has to fight Jamal Charlo or fight Jamel Charlo if Jamel Charlo decides to move up.
You know, that's interesting because I wonder how that works, because he was under contract to fight Canelo in September, and by Canelo losing and taking his rematch, do he get the fight in the first quarter of 2023, or that just voids that contract for a fight with Triple G? Because if it does, damn, for Triple G, he missed out on the bag again.
Yeah, he's fucked. He's fucked either way because because of the champion lost and the champion had the rematch clause. He had the rematch clause to get his belt back. That trumps whatever the next fight was. You understand what I'm saying? So if he signed a contract to defend his title against Triple G, but he lost to upset that, then that rematch clause takes precedence. It's the same way with Wilder and Fury, if you remember. The whole reason why they went to arbitration. He was trying to move on to the next fight, but it was no matter what contract he signed to get that fight, no matter what in Saudi Arabia, no matter what he signed, that rematch clause was solid. Like you have to abide that. So I'm pretty sure that rematch clause that Canelo had is solid. It's ironclad. So Triple G, man, he's going to either have to fight another Japanese dude over there in Japan and hope that sells over there, or he's going to have to fight a real opponent over here to make a name for himself and hope that he can get the winner of Bivol and Canelo to make a bigger fight later on next year.
Yeah, hopefully so. But in my opinion, I think he's going to stay still, wait around for a whole year, and wait till May of next year to try to get that Canelo fight, and he'll be 1 year older than what he probably would have. 7 to 8 months older than we would have been in September. Was gonna make that fight even more of a challenge for him if he can get the fight in May of 2023.
I'm gonna say this in close. I know it's a long video, but this is a raw video, so you just gotta excuse us. Hopefully you still ride with us with the ride. It's been a great conversation so far. But I got a question for you real quick, which probably also may be our own separate video. Let's just say, right, now that Canelo might be tied up in the rematch with Bivol, let's just say Triple G does take on one of those young lions. Let's say he does take on Benavidez at 68. Let's say he knocked out Benavidez. What does that do for a Canelo Alvarez fight at that point?
Oh, it makes it huge. It makes him and Triple G a big time fight again. I mean, I can't see it happening, but yeah, I mean, Triple G, if he believe in himself and his skills and his ability, if he jumped up and fought David Benavidez, even a Charlo, and was to beat them or stop them, it would raise his stock and make him and Canelo fight even bigger, which will make his bag even bigger. So yeah, it would be a risk. I don't think he'll take that risk, but if he believes in himself, hey man, go ahead, man, and then rather than sit around for a year, because you'll get a nice payday. Trust me, PBC will pay good money for Triple G to fight either David Benavidez or Charlo. And so he'll get a nice bag right there. And if he can win, he'll get a really big bag against Canelo, because that fight becomes more intriguing there.
I'm going to be honest, he's not beating Charlo. I'm gonna say something else probably controversial. Triple G has a better chance of beating David Benavidez than he does of beating Canelo or Jamel Charlo. In my opinion, I think he has a better chance of beating David Benavidez out of all three of those opponents. But you guys want to add to this topic? Or you agree with that? You want to add something to that?
I'm gonna real quick. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, because even though I think David Benavidez is slightly better than Charlo at this stage, his style of just throwing punches and getting caught a lot can give Triple G a chance. And the fact that Triple G has a iron chin and can take a punch, it would be a war, and that's a war that Triple G can win, because his power is unhuman. So yeah, so I get exactly where you're coming from on that.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. You got anything else to answer this topic, man? We got a lot of topics we could break up in this video and make it its own video in itself. We give a lot of free game away in this video, I think.
Yeah, I think we covered it all for Chin Check Uncut.
Most definitely. With that being said, man, we hope you stay tuned next time. This is your favorite channel, man, CTB. This is Chan Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel going. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love. And we out of here. Take care.
Peace.